If you're looking for a winner, looking for attention, looking for supreme.
This is my first video. This video is gonna be about why I joined the military. So I'll just take y'all all the way back. So it was fall 2017 semester, and the whole time I was at college, I was pretty much by myself. Like, really, I didn't have any help. I was struggling trying to stay there, paying the housing and books. I was just really struggling. And so well, that's another story. I'm not gonna say that. So yeah, I was just really struggling. I didn't have any help. My dad, he just was like, I don't want no loans in my name and da da da. My mama, she's still in the project, so it ain't really much you can do. So I was really struggling, and so I had gotta balance the things. And so the fall of 2017, I was actually trying to move into an apartment on a campus. What is it? The student-based living apartments or whatever, because I had got a bill saying for the following semester, which is the semester that just passed, spring 2018, that I was gonna owe $2,000. And as much as I always pay every semester, but I've never paid $2,000. I think the most I paid was like a little over $1,400. So I was like, nah, I'm finna just go into a student apartment because I would save a lot of money. So I ran into a bunch of issues. One was when I was actually during the process to stay in the student housing apartments, whatever they're called. I had ran into an issue where, one, they wouldn't let me move in unless I canceled my I canceled my classes for the spring, because I quote unquote would have been breaking my housing contract. So even if I moved into that apartment and still went to class, like for that spring semester, I would still owe them the $2,000. Well, really, like, it would be fine because I would have to pay the room and board plus the meal plan. So I would still have to pay that on top of paying rent. So I was like, nah. And I just kind of like, I was like, man, fuck it. Like, I just got it was like nothing was really working for me. It's like every time I felt like I was making progress, I just got pushed back. So I'm just like, okay, I don't have any other choices. And so I was like, military. That's my only way, because I didn't want to go back home. I mean, I'm from Montgomery, and there's nothing there. I didn't have the best relationship with my parents, so I didn't want to move with neither one of them. So it was just really, really hard, and it was really depressing. Like, I wanted to go. At one point, I wanted to go. And then I was just like, well, forget it. I'm just going to get me a man in the military, which I did. But it was time for me to actually go and do it myself, because it would have benefited me way more. So yeah, my boyfriend being in the military, he's in the Army National Guard, and so I was just really interested in going to the Coast Guard. And everybody look at me crazy when I say that, but I was really, really, really wanted to go and join Coast Guard. So I just got a lot of riff-raff, like, with them. No, they weren't returning my calls. They weren't doing anything. So I even went down to the office, because I spent like 2 weeks before I actually went home with my boyfriend. I met his people and his family and everything, and he took me by a Coast Guard recruiter. Nothing. I called them for like 2 weeks straight. Nothing. No call back. I left messages. No call back. And so when I came home, and I pretty much told my dad before I came home, I was like, look, I'm just gonna go to the military, because I'm not finna stay here. So yeah, so he took me by the recruiting place, because there's every branch right next to each other. So we went there, and yeah, we went there, and they weren't even at the office. So I was like so pissed, because I had been calling these people for 2 weeks. Then I get there, and they not there. The lights on, the TV on, but ain't nobody in there. So he was like, well, just go talk to the other branches. And I was like, I really wasn't trying to hear that. And so I was like, well, might as well. We ain't doing nothing else, and I'm not trying to be with you for that long. So let's go ahead and do something. So so we was walking. He was like, "You want to talk to the Air Force?" And if I told anybody, I had a bad experience with the Air Force when I was in high school, when I first thought about joining, and it was just bad. But that's another story. So yeah, so on the way, he was like, "Come on, let's just see what they talking about." And da da da. So we going to the, what is it, Air Force office, and then right next to Coast Guard was the Navy. So we passed by there, or whatever. We on the way to Air Force. So the Navy person guy came out, and he was like, "Where y'all going?" And my dad was like, "Oh, we're just gonna talk to an Air Force recruiter." He was like, "Come in here." And so we came in there, and I honestly, a lot of people don't know that, but I went from Coast Guard and I almost signed a contract with the Navy. So the only reason I love my Navy recruiter, he still check up on me to this day. I actually took my ASVAB with the Navy before I switched over. But anyways, he really sold me. They were really genuine recruiters, and he was really genuine, and I like the fact that he didn't lie to me, because because they do get paid for recruiting, and they have to meet a quota every month. So I can tell he wasn't like trying to hurry up and get me signed a contract or anything. He was very, 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 very sincere, and he was very truthful, and I could just tell. So, but the reason why I didn't join was because I never wanted to do active duty. I feel like active duty is one of those things where if you really don't, and I'm not bashing anybody by any means, but I feel like active duty is for one of those ones, people who don't want to go to college, or people who want to travel. And not saying I don't want to travel, but that wasn't the reason why I joined the military. I went to the military so I can pay for school. So they kept, as any recruiter would, they're gonna push, active duty, active duty, active duty. I didn't want that, and so while we was in there, my dad is just an ass, so he has to act out everywhere he goes. So we in there, and they basically like, "What's holding you back?" And was like, "Why don't you want to go active duty?" And I was like, "Well, look, I came in here to get my school paid for, go through basic training, tech school, come back, and do what I originally started." And so then my dad gonna interrupt, and he was like, "She don't want to go active duty because of this boy." And I was like, what? Like that it was really like, y'all, I was like, that ain't, of course I'm gonna think about him in my decision, but he's not the reason why I didn't want to go active. I never wanted to go active. So he got all these people like pressuring me trying to go active duty, and I just went with it. And so, but I actually love what the Navy did and what they do, and stuff like that. So I was kind of like torn, like in a rock and a hard place. It was very hard. I remember telling my boyfriend I was considering, and you're probably wondering like why you couldn't do reserves, but reserve, especially for women, is in the Navy. For one, have you heard it? Anybody in the Navy reserves? Anybody? No. And then two, it's not that many jobs available for women, and then they wanted to pay. They would have paid for my school, but it really wasn't nothing. Like it really wasn't nothing. And so it probably wouldn't even cover all my tuition. I want to say it was like $1,000. I don't remember. Don't quote me. But I just didn't want to do it. And so at one point I was considering active duty, and I was talking to my boyfriend or whatever, and we was going through it, because, and when he went to the military, he had a girlfriend, and she kind of swayed his decision as far as going active duty, and he ended up going Army National Guard. He didn't want to hold me back. Well, yeah, so he just didn't want to hold me back, and I really do appreciate that he didn't. But I knew there was an Army National Guard, and I was just really feeling pressured. So, and I guess he really saw that, and he was like, "Well, you do know there's the Air Force National Guard." I was like, "So you sat here and let me just boo-hoo cry because I really didn't want to do it, but this was the best option because I didn't want to stay at home. So, and you just didn't say nothing because you didn't want to be in my way, or you didn't want to sway my decision." I was like, "Why you didn't tell me this before?" Because I was really looking for that anyway, because I know in school he's in the Army National Guard. It's almost like we kind of almost receive the same benefits. So they pay like $5,080. I mean, yeah, $5,080 in tuition, which covers every like all my tuition at South anyway. So that means I wouldn't have to come out of pocket for anything. They also give you the Air National Guard. They also give you $375 monthly allowance for just going to school. And on top of that, you have drill pay. Now they're recruiting people for maintenance jobs, so you get a $20,000 bonus. $20,000 bonus. Like, come on. I didn't, the job that I chose didn't have a bonus, but I'm glad I chose it. But $20,000 if you just doing a maintenance job. But, yeah, so I chose the Air National Guard. Now, the process for that is going to be a whole nother video because it was hard and it took a long time, and I cried a lot of nights because at one point I didn't think I was going to get in, but thank God I did. I thank God for my boyfriend for I'm about to tear up. I thank God for my boyfriend for just helping me throughout the process because I really didn't have anybody. Nobody in my family is military. And if, you know, the ones who were, that I really didn't talk to that much, you know, joined over 20 years ago. So all the information is outdated or they were in the Army. And so, I mean, I really, even though my boyfriend was in a different branch, I really did appreciate how much, like, even when I was with the Navy, how supportive he was throughout the process. And I don't know why I'm tearing up, but I really appreciate it. And so yeah, that's why I joined. I mean, it gave me more leverage, more self-sufficiency. Like, even though I was doing everything on my own, it just got really, really hard financially, spiritually, mentally. And I mean, I really thank God that he was there to help me through that, or at least ease it. But yeah, so I was just really struggling. Now when I go, I come back, I get me a car in my name, pay my own insurance, get my own apartment, don't have to ask for no help, and don't have to go back home. Thank God. So I mean, it was really a blessing that it like, if y'all, the process it took for me to even just like officially get in and everything, it was really something. So don't go and be like, oh, I'm going to the military, because they are very, 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 very particular. And I'm not just saying the Air Force, but any branch in general, because they really, it's almost like, well, that's another video. But I had to just explain it in other videos for y'all, but they're very picky with the people they choose to serve the country. Like, you have to be you almost have to act like you ain't never been sick in your life, like, seriously. So yeah, so that's the reason why I joined. I just needed money. I really needed money. I needed the benefits. It gave me more self-sufficiency. I mean, I was always independent, especially when I went to college, but it gives me more, I wouldn't say freedom, but it gave me a lot of hope. And it also gave, I mean, of course the benefits are nice and I can just, pass them down to my kids, but it was a very interesting process, and I just thank God that I was able to get in. And I'm actually leaving in 3 weeks, so I'm very excited. I'm really elated just to show y'all the process and how how you see me acting now versus after, and seeing me in the uniform, what my body gonna look like, because I'm gonna be fine, But anyways, I'm just really excited, and I'm just ready to take you guys on the journey with me, and I hope that I can, actually be a mentor to some people who's actually trying to join or interested in joining, and help those out, and pray. I pray y'all don't make the same decision I made, because it will mess you up. But anyways, thank you guys for watching this video. This is my first video, so you can hit that subscribe button. But again, I'm going to be leaving soon, so I'm going to be MIA for about 2 months, since that's how long my basic training is. But I'm really excited about starting this YouTube channel again, excited about this journey, and I'm glad to have y'all following me and watching it. So I'll see you guys later, and just continue to keep watching my videos.
All of the times you thought